Hello ladies and gentlemen, Top Hat Gaming Man here, and I'm not even really drinking a cup of tea, it's empty. Anyway, today I am going to be doing a little video about my recent retro gaming pickups over the last month since I finished my world tour and I am now back in England. Anyway, I have been thinking about these pickup videos for quite some time. I have actually been pondering whether I even want pickup videos on this channel. Because really, it's quite lowbrow content, isn't it? Like, it doesn't take much to make a video about, ooh, look what I've got, look, I'm showing off, I've bought all this stuff. Because essentially, there's so many boring channels out there, and that's the only content they bloody make. All they do is show off about what stuff they've purchased recently, and that doesn't take any work or effort, so what could possibly be interesting about that? So, after consulting a friend of mine named Luke Street, who watches this channel, I was talking to him about pickup videos and other YouTubers and stuff, and he informed me the reason why he watches pickup videos because he learns new things about different games and products. So that never really occurred to me, to be honest, that most people know a lot less about retro gaming than me. So when these people show off these interesting things to people on YouTube, a lot of the audience are actually learning, which I never really thought about, because everything I see these idiots put on their lap and show the world I've already seen before. So I hope today I actually managed to show some of you at home some new things you've never seen before, essentially, or some exciting things what you love, and I'll just be able to reflect on those a little bit. So anyway, this is all the little objects I have purchased since returning to the UK. The last video I made like this was when I was in Bangkok in Thailand, when I went to I think it was called the Wang Barupa Centre, and it was basically 7 floors of retro games, and I picked up lots of lovely little gems there. Anyway, let's get on with this. This one, I think I purchased this from game.com. I got it for $29.99. It is the Sinclair ZX Spectrum Recreation. And basically it looks, if you open it up, which I'm not going to do because it's very fiddly, it looks exactly like an original ZX Spectrum, only it's not really an original ZX Spectrum. It's actually, it's pretty much just a Bluetooth keyboard, which you can use on PCs, phones and tablets, and basically use an app to play loads of old Spectrum games using a lifelike, fleshy keyboard controller, just like the good old days. But yes, so far I haven't got around to using this, but I will probably make a video on it. Is the ZX Spectrum worth playing today? I suppose you'll have to wait a few weeks to find out. What else have I got? Ah, very interesting. You all know that I love my handhelds, and I have recently managed to get quite a nice selection here of PlayStation Portable games. Let's go through. I have acquired Dynasty Warriors, which I believe was one of the launch titles for the PlayStation Portable. I have Loco Roco here, one of the games in which I talked about in my PlayStation Portable video, where I covered a lot of the best games on the system. Loco Roco is rather odd, where you play as like some orange ball thing, and I think, if I remember, you tilt like the L and R button to actually tilt the landscape rather than the character and the ball like roll, and it falls through things. Very charming game, interesting, very different, exactly the sort of thing I like. Innovation, and not the pretentious kind of innovation what Nintendo constantly do and make games less enjoyable. So yes, what else have I got here? Ah, Ultimate Ghosts and Goblins, which, to be fair, really is the ultimate version of Ghosts and Goblins. It pretty much reinvents the wheel. It's literally a new Ghosts and Goblins game. Well, kind of new, because it's on the PlayStation Portable, kind of odd because the PlayStation Portable came out 12 years ago now, but just this game came out in, just to check, 2006, so it's 11 years old now, but that's new to me because I'm quite old. So yes, Ultimate Ghosts and Goblins, the ultimate Ghosts and Goblins game. Play it, and I also talk about that in my PlayStation Portable video. Also, Midway Arcade Treasures Extended Play, and this game features Spy Hunter, Sinister, Defender, Paperboy, 720, Clax, Joust, Marble Madness, a favourite of mine, Tubin, Rampage, Gauntlet, Rampart, Wizard of War, Zybots, Championship Sprint, Arch Rival, Cyberball 2072, Xenophobe, like Donald Trump, Mortal Kombat 2 and Mortal Kombat 3. Also, Loco Roco 2. I won't talk about that too much because it's just a sequel to Loco Roco and features very similar gameplay mechanics. Another great addition to any PlayStation Portable collection. Crazy Taxi Fair Wars. I can't say I know a lot about this one, although I am a fan of the Crazy Taxi series, so I would like to try this one out when I get some time. Have any of you played this one in the comment section? Let me know your thoughts. What else have I got here? Another Sega game I have never played, Alien Syndrome, which it looks like a 3D sequel to the Mega Drive game, which shares the same name. Whether it's any good or not, who knows, but the name alone, Alien Syndrome, made me pick this one up. Okay, I've got a nice copy here of the Jrpg by Capcom, Breath of Fire 3. So again, it's a Jrpg I've never got round to playing yet, but it's nice to own a copy on the PSP, so maybe one day I'll be able to play it on the go rather than on the PS1, which I also believed it came out on, which I believe I also have a copy of around somewhere. Also, Capcom Classics Collection Remixed. What have we got on here? 1941, Avengers, Bionic Commander, Black Tiger, Block Block, Captain Commando, Final Fight, Forgotten Worlds, Sidearms, Lost Duel, Legendary Wings, Magic Sword, Mega Twins, Quiz and Dragon, Section Z, sorry, why am I pretending to be American? That doesn't make any sense. The Speed Rumbler, Street Fighter, Strider, Three Wonders and Varth. So, all of those games, how many games is on there? A bloody lot. I'm not going to count now because that would take too long. £12. Play all those games, £12. Amazing. And last but not least, out of the PlayStation Portable selection, I've got a copy here of Micro Machines V4. Big fan of the Micro Machines series, however, I have not played this entry yet. But it should be fun. Still made by Codemasters like all of the classics. Yeah. Okay, that's the PlayStation Portable section of the video. What shall I move on to next? I suppose what I've actually put on the thumbnail. I've got myself, finally, I've wanted one of these for ages, a bloody boxed Panasonic 3DO, which I will put over here so you can all see better. I've wanted a 3DO for quite some time. Many people have actually informed me that they believe this could perhaps be the most underrated games console of all time. I believe it has a smashing library of actually around, I could be wrong here because I'm thinking off the top of my head, so don't go in the comment section. I believe it has around 300 games on the system. Around the world, obviously if you include Europe, North America and Japan, there's over 300 games. So there's a nice selection of games to play on it, including Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, which I believe is apparently the best version of Street Fighter 2 released in that era. So even better than all the versions you could get on the Super Nintendo at the time. So yes, I look forward to exploring the Panasonic 3DO's library and also making content on it as well. A video about is the Panasonic 3DO worth playing today, where I go through the history, the top games, etc. You know, the normal tropes of the videos I feature within my channel. Okay, so I put that heavy bastard down. What shall I look through next? I suppose the 3DO games I've got. Let's have a look here. Obviously, don't know a great deal about the 3DO library yet, as it's a system I've just acquired. I learn as I go along. I think it's the most fun that way. Like, it's no fun, is it, collecting for a system you know literally everything about. That's what I've moaned about the NES on this channel so much, because YouTubers have talked about the bloody platform so much that it's got no mystique to it at all. We literally know about every game in a vast amount of detail, so it's bloody boring to collect for. The 3DO, on the other hand, the games have been nowhere near as overexposed, so a lot more fun for us collectors. Jolly good fun indeed. What have I got here? I've got a game here called Battle Sport, which again I can't tell you a great deal about, other than if I look on the back it says welcome to the future of televised sports, and it kind of looks like it's in a first person sort of perspective with like 3D rendered maps and textures, so maybe we'll look at that later. We have Starfighter, which again looks like a kind of Star Fox style game, an early 3D like space shooter sort of thing from 1995. And we've got The Horde, which I have been informed is one of those weird full motion video games like Night Trap, but obviously this is one of the lesser known games in comparison to the ones that have been overexposed on the Sega Mega CD, the ones that have been exposed so much that bloody annoying company Limited Run Games have released it in limited quantities so scalpers can scalp the bloody buggery out of it. Like, oh, I'm going off on a tangent now, but Limited Run Games, you're bloody annoying. So yes, also these look like 3DO demo discs, which only cost me £2 each, from 3DO magazine. Wouldn't you believe it? A magazine dedicated to creating 3DO discs. And what's it say on here? It's a sampler disc to be distributed solely with the 3DO magazine, not for resale. And it's got Phoenix Free on the front. I don't know if that's the only demo on here, but since it hasn't got anything else written on it, then I'd guess that probably is the only demo on there. And here's another one with Starfighter, which I've actually got the full copy of Starfighter down there. So very interesting indeed. Next, I'll show you my PlayStation 2 games. What have I added to that collection? Right here, I have Silent Hill 2 in this lovely cardboard box. Look at that. Cardboard box that's not been chewed up by a dog. Lovely. Also, a shooter, because we all love shooters, don't we, on YouTube? 1945 1 and 2, the arcade games, on a PlayStation 2 disc. Delightful! What else have we got here? Ah, another space shooter, R-Type Final, which is cool. Something else I'd like to add, I actually bought a lot of these games in bloody CEX of all places. Like, CEX is actually becoming a decent retailer for retro games. Wouldn't you believe that? Also, Dark Chronicles, which I believe is the sequel to Dark Cloud, and I think in North America this may even perhaps be called Dark Cloud 2. I played the original Dark Cloud game and I enjoyed some of it. However, when I got to end up playing as that fat character with a hammer, I believe his name was Guru, I think, like the character in bloody Shenmue, you know, the annoying one who's a bit like Biff from Back to the Future. Anyway, the Guru from Dark Cloud, his controls are just broken. He uses it as a fat bloke with a hammer and he's just crap. So the brokenness of Dark Cloud made me unfortunately stop playing it. But I heard the sequel, Dark Chronicle, basically fixes all the problems with the prequel. So hopefully I will get a much more fulfilling experience with this game when I get around to playing it. Okay, Wild Arms 3, one of the games within the Wild Arms series. We never actually had Wild Arms 2 released in Europe for some bizarre reason, like many JRPGs. We got the first one and the third one, but no second one. But thankfully, on my trip to the United States last year, I did manage to pick up a US copy of Wild Arms 2. So I have it in my collection regardless, which is nice. And I have 1, 2 and 3 in the Wild Arms series so far. Also, finally, my first Suikoden game. I think that's how it's pronounced. Suikoden? Sudoku? I don't know, it's a stupid word by the looks of things. Anyway, Suikoden, we call it. This is Suikoden 5. I've not actually had the pleasure of playing any Suikoden games, as generally they go for quite a lot of money. However, I did get this one for quite cheap, and I look forward to playing it. So it gives me a taste of the series, and perhaps makes me want to go and purchase all the others too. I think, not 100%, as I said, I've never got around to playing the series. It is a strategy JRPG, much like the Shining Force series and the Fire Emblem series. So yes, what else have I got here? Okay, let's show you some interesting stuff. This little friend I have here is the Flash Boy, which is like, it's a flash card basically for the Virtual Boy. So that I can plug this little thing here into my laptop and download Virtual Boy games straight onto this cartridge and play them using an actual Virtual Boy itself. So essentially I can run Virtual Boy ROMs on the hardware, so games are to be experienced how they're supposed to be. In terms of North American games, I actually only need 2 more North American Virtual Boy game releases to have a complete full set. 3, sorry. I need Waterworld, I need Tetris 3D, and I need Nestor's Funky Bowling, and I have all of them, and I've even got some of the Japanese games as well. But to be honest, I'm not that interested in running all the official games. There is a lovely little homebrew community for the Virtual Boy, and I've actually talked about quite a few of the homebrew games on this channel actually. So yes, I've mainly purchased a Flash Boy so I can play all these beautiful fan-made games using Virtual Boy hardware itself, playing through the actual 3D monitor. Yeah, how novel. Let's go through the last few bits and pieces. For one of my next exciting episodes of Handhelds Around the World, I've actually got myself here a nice boxed Gamecom, which is quite exciting, I suppose. I don't think I've ever heard a good word about this thing before, so this is the sort of system I love to cover on this channel, because maybe I'll be able to actually bring to light some of the goodness from this system if it's actually got any. But usually I can find goodness in systems, like no one had a good word to say about the CDI before I came along, so yes, let's look for the goodness in the Gamecom. Love my handhelds, and I'm so happy to have added another one to my collection. Still looking for an N-Gage though, still haven't found a Nokia N-Gage. I'd like to cover that too. Finally, we'll look at my recent Sega Saturn games, what I've added to my collection, because I know Sega Saturn has like a big collector's following at the moment. First of all, I've got a copy here of Virtua Cop 2 with the light gun, which is fantastic to deliver an arcade style experience. So now the actual other games. I have here Nights into Dreams, and in the other room, I've not actually brought it out here, I have the analog controller as well for the Sega Saturn, so I will be able to play this game in all its real glory, which hopefully will be fantastic. I've never heard a bad word about Nights into Dreams, so I am really looking forward to playing this game when I get the moment of spare time. Apparently, it's so bloody good, Miyamoto was jealous of the creator that he didn't come out of it himself. It's that creative and innovative, I suppose, even though, according to many people like Guru Larry this week, many of the Nintendo creations are actually lies and are actually thought up by complete other companies and people have just credited for them. So, but yes, Miyamoto apparently said he is jealous of Nights. Next we have House of the Dead. Yeah. So yes, that's partially the reason I bought the light gun, was specifically to play House of the Dead, and I've already pumped quite a few hours into playing this one. It's been that bloody fun. Next up, I've got a copy of Shining Force 3, a game I've wanted to add to my collection for quite some time. I've played a little bit of it so far. I'm enjoying what I've experienced of it, although it makes me a little bit sad playing it because apparently Scenario 2 and Scenario 3 were only released in Japan. However, apparently patches are available to play them in English online, so eventually I'll import them from Japan because they are still very cheap, and I'll apply the patches somehow and get to play the whole series in English, which would be delightful. Next up we have Sega Ages Volume 1, another multi-cart with arcade games on. This one's got Afterburner 2, Space Harrier and Outrun on it. Next up, this is the most expensive one I've acquired recently, Darius Gaiden, I think you have to call it now. I always used to say Gaiden, but apparently Gaiden is the way it's pronounced in Japan. However, it's called Gaiden in my regional dialect, which is a word that triggers people for some reason. So yes, Darius Gaiden is another space shooter. I bought a lot of these recently, Japanese space shooters, because they're so bloody fun. With all these space shooters, you can pick up and play them anytime you want without having to worry about any stupid storylines, learning controls, all those annoying generic tropes of modern games. You don't have that with space shooters. You just pick them up, put them straight in the system, play for an hour, and then they're so difficult you'll get annihilated and have to start the whole game again. Jolly good fun. And finally, the last one I've got here is a 4-disc game, Enemy Zero, which I believe is some sort of survival horror game, which again I've not got around to playing yet, but looking at the reviews of the past, the game is quite critically acclaimed. I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's along the same sort of lines in gameplay to a game like Resident Evil, for example. Anyway, that was my pickups. I hope this video wasn't too vain for you and it wasn't too low brow for you, like one of those videos where people just show off what they've pulled from the boot sale. At least I've got a nice quality haul of games here rather than just showing you a load of random crap I bought. Like, I actually selectively picked good stuff to add to my collection instead of literally just tripe like every sports game from Mr. Jimmy Savile or something like that at his stall where he's selling crap he's found. So that's what I've got for you. What have you bought recently and added to your retro gaming collection? Is there anything here you'd like to see me cover in detail on this channel which I failed to speak about in this video? Let me know in the comments section. Anyway, I shall see you all in my next video. Cheerio!
Huh?